When the 2009 global financial crisis hit, Andrew and I were terrified. I remember sitting in our new home, looking at that beautiful expensive car in the garage that we couldn't even afford to take out for a joyride, and really being worried that we might lose it all. We couldn't sell it, we couldn't afford it, and we couldn't escape it. That moment didn't just teach me about frugal living, it changed my entire way I see money and what really matters to me. And those lessons carried us through the 2020 pandemic and again in 2024 when we sold everything to move abroad. If you're feeling like your money controls you, instead of the other way around, stay with me. Because these aren't just tips, they're the habits that give me back my peace.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no.
Hi, welcome back to Chandra's Life. I'm Chanel, a practicing life transformation coach, sharing frugal and minimalist tips to help you move through overwhelming and busy life seasons with confidence, because you don't have to lose yourself during any life season. So before I share my frugal living tips, I want to give you my definition of what frugal living means. Because I believe if you can understand another person's reasoning, then their perspective is less weird. So frugal living for me is mindful spending. It's choosing what truly matters for me and my household and aligning our money with our values. And here's what I want you to understand. Frugal living isn't about deprivation. It's not about saying no to everything fun or never treating yourself again. It's about knowing, and I mean really knowing, where your money goes, so that when life throws you a curveball, you're not left wondering how you will survive the month. Because if those years back then have taught me anything, it's that life is unpredictable. Jobs change, economies shift, and unexpected expenses show up. And the only thing you can control is how prepared you are for them. If you watched the part 1 video from Wednesday, you'll remember the overwhelm we faced back in 2009. But if not, I'll link it up above and in the description below so you can go catch up later if you feel like it. In that video, I shared how Andrew and I were almost bankrupt. I will never forget how worried we were, even though we can laugh about the time with fondness today. In that moment, while we were going through it, it wasn't all that funny. We still laugh about the 2-minute noodles and all the weight we gained from all the carbs we ate. But when you're in survival mode, it is hard to see the silver lining. If I had to give myself from 16 years back advice, I would say to her that she needs to live in the present, to stop waiting for the storm to pass, that things will work out beautifully. Can you relate to that feeling of just wanting a hard season to be over? I always look back on my life and realize that I sometimes can't even remember entire pockets of time. But I'm sure I'm not the only one. I am fully aware that each one of us process situations differently. That's what makes us so unique. And that's why I don't get specific with how you should implement some of these tips. Because understanding how you process life's challenges changes everything. And that's what we'll explore more in my new community that I am launching on November 1st, and I would love for you to join. But I'll share the details soon because it's not finalized yet. Please subscribe to my channel if you found value so far, or if you would like to learn more about how you process information and also to get to know yourself better. Let me share the 5 frugal living habits that gave me back peace, confidence, and sense of control when life felt unpredictable. And I still live by them today. Remember, these habits didn't just save our finances, they reshaped our entire life. Let's start with the first one, planning. If you fail to plan, you plan to panic. And I learned that the hard way. I'm a big advocate for planning ahead. The scenarios you are planning for will almost always look different when you encounter them. But the idea is to anticipate a future scenario and to be prepared for it. When you plan, you know where your money is going, You avoid impulse buying or overspending, and you can prepare for certain life expenses or scenarios. Not planning was our biggest mistake when the 2009 recession hit, and our greatest strength when the pandemic shut the world down in 2020. If you've ever had an unexpected car repair or medical bill completely derail your month, you know what I'm talking about. Planning doesn't prevent those things from happening, but it prevents them from destroying you financially or emotionally. And that peace of mind is priceless. And that brings us to the second frugal tip, budgeting. A budget felt unattainable at first, but it became a ticket to freedom for me. The better I can plan for unforeseen expenses, the calmer I feel. It's what keeps my anxiety about the future in check. So, since that very first time we set up a budget and planned our 3-month exit strategy from bankruptcy, we keep a close eye on our budget. At times it is more rigid, like this month, because we are trying to find our feet in Dubai and because I realized that my coffee habit got out of hand. And at times we allow ourselves luxuries, like at the end of November when we are planning a trip to the Maldives for my birthday. I know some of you are thinking, Chanel, I can barely make it through the month. How am I supposed to budget for a vacation? And I hear you. I've been there. Remember that I'm now 16 years into this exercise. So start where you are. Even if your budget is just tracking where every cent goes for this month, that's your starting point. You can't change what you don't measure. So start measuring so that you can bring about change. Living below our means is my third frugal habit that we practice. And I know living in a studio apartment might seem extreme to some of you. Trust me, there are days I wish I had a separate bedroom or an office space. But here's the truth. Every time I feel that twinge of, I wish I had more space, I remember that bathroom moment from 2009 when I was wondering how we'd even afford toothpaste. And I choose peace over square footage every single time. Because retirement at 65 isn't a fantasy, it is our reality. And I refuse to spend my 70s stressed about money the way I was stressed about it in my 30s. This tiny apartment is our insurance policy against future panic. And back then, that season also taught me another powerful lesson. And that is that not every good deal is good for my budget. So the fourth frugal habit I live by is that I don't really buy in bulk. I know that buying in bulk can really save you money. And I'm sure if I lived in a place where natural disasters was real, I might reconsider this. But living through a recession where I couldn't afford buying in bulk, and then a pandemic where I learned that the only thing that I couldn't get really was toilet paper, cigarettes, and liquor, I'm glad we have a bidet. And I now know that there is really nothing that I won't be able to buy when I need it, except for toilet paper. I also eat a very simplified diet of meat, salt, and coffee, so there is little extra that I need. I would much rather have that money in my pocket than in the hands of the food companies. I know this goes against conventional wisdom, but here's what I learned. Having money in my bank account gives me more security than having a pantry full of things I might need someday. Because when the next unexpected thing happens, and it will, I need money in my bank, not food in my cupboard. And the fifth thing that I learned was delayed gratification. Learning to wait has been my biggest personal growth journey. Andrew and I plan our future in detail. We dream big and we make sure that we stay on top of our daily and weekly spending. This often means that we have to save up for a purchase like that robot vacuum I really want. I used to be very impatient and I just wanted to get what I really wanted immediately. But it's been 16 years of practice and sometimes I still get impatient. But here's the secret no one tells you about delayed gratification. When you finally buy that thing you saved for with cash, there's no guilt attached to it. No voice in your head saying, should you really have bought it? And no credit card statement making your stomach drop when you see it. There's just pure enjoyment. So that's the reward for waiting, not just the actual item, but also the freedom to enjoy it completely. And guys, these 5 habits didn't just save our finances back in 2009. They gave me something I didn't even know I'd lost, and that is control over my own life. And that's what I want for you. Not just a balanced budget, not just frugal tips, but the deep, calm confidence that comes from knowing that you can handle whatever life throws at you. So, here's your action step. Pick one of these habits, just one, and implement it this week. Maybe it's tracking spending for 7 days. Maybe it's finally looking at your budget. Maybe it's saying no to that impulse purchase and putting that money aside. Just one small step, because transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens one intentional choice at a time. Comment below with which habit you're starting with. I want to celebrate every single person who's choosing to take control today. And if you want to see how I discovered that minimalism and frugal living works hand in hand in my life, then tune in on Wednesday where I explore that exact topic. Now remember, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next right step. You are capable of transforming your life. You just have to believe it to achieve it. So until Wednesday, enjoy living life. Bye.
I don't think so.